We're joined now by Coach Whittingham. Coach will give an opening statement, and then we'll open up to your questions.
Okay, with all the stuff, I guess you could say, that's going on in college football, it's good to be finally getting back to getting on the field and actually practicing and being with your guys and getting the season going. So excited about that. We've got some stuff going for us this year. We got a lot of good players back from last year's team. Looking forward to getting into fall camp. Like I said, we got a tough opener down in SEC country in the Swamp, September 3rd. So that's got our guys' full attention, and we're working hard to get ready for that football game. So great to be here. Media Days always signifies the start of the season, and that it's right around the corner. And so excited, like I said, to get back on the field and do our thing. So questions?
Okay, if you have questions, just go ahead and step up to the mic and ask away. Thank you. Yeah, please identify yourself, Michael. Thank you.
Hey, Coach. Michael Lev with the Arizona Daily Star. I know you just mentioned all the stuff that's going on in the world of college athletics. How do you feel about the direction and future of college football, given all of that stuff?
Yeah, well, the future is really anybody's best guess. I think that, from my own perspective, super conferences are on their way. They're already starting to form. A full-blown playoff, 12, 16-team playoff, that's around the corner as well. And so the landscape is changing rapidly. I don't think we're ever going to see anything close to what we're been used to the last 50 years in college football. It's all changing, and you add NIL on top of that, and it's a completely different world. But it is the world we're in right now, and so you got to adapt. And it's just something that I really have as a football coach, it's no control over those type of things that are going on. It's really administration and the commissioners that are handling that, obviously. And from my perspective, it's all about our team this season and recruiting. That's where I keep my focus and don't really spend any time thinking about much else.
Hey, Coach. Will Decker from LA Football Network. Last year, you guys were a completely different team when Cam Rising stepped into the lineup. What are the things that we don't see as the media, which makes him a leader on that team that elevated you guys to the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, well, Cam is a terrific player. As you mentioned, he's first-team All-Pac-12. And also, as you mentioned, he provided an instant spark, an immediate spark when we inserted him into the game. It was the San Diego State game that he got his first opportunity. He never looked back. Cam means so much to our football team. Off the field, he's the leader of the leaders. He's the alpha dog of our team and really sets the standard. And you couldn't ask for a better leader. He's one of the best leaders I've ever been around.
Hey, Kyle, I wonder if you could talk about the significance, even though it was a loss, of the Rose Bowl on the program, where it's gotten to this point, playing Ohio State like you did, and maybe lasting effects going forward.
Yeah, well, first of all, it was a great national stage for our team, obviously, to be able to be in that game and have that exposure. The game itself was terrific. Didn't come out on the right end of it, but it was something that I'm positive all the fans enjoyed, and the ratings were really good and all that stuff. But for our program, it signified the next step in the evolution of our program, winning the Pac-12. We'd been to the championship game. That was the third time last year. We had been denied the first two times, so it was good to get over that hump. And we certainly felt the effects of that game in recruiting, still feeling the effects of that. We're off to a really good start with our 23 class, so all good except for the outcome of the game, but a lot of positives.
Coach, kind of building off that a little bit, with the importance of the Rose Bowl game and the importance of the 2009 Sugar Bowl, you mentioned the possibility of a 12 or 16-team playoff. How does it make you kind of feel as a football fan if that diminishes the importance of games like the Sugar Bowl and Rose Bowl?
You got to speak up just a little bit. I heard most of it, but not all the question.
My apologies. With the importance of the 2009 Sugar Bowl, and then you're mentioning the Rose Bowl game, how does it make you feel as somebody who's been invested in football, the prospect of an expanded playoff maybe diminishing the importance of those games?
Well, there's so much revenue being left on the table, not having a full-blown playoff, and that's what drives everything these days, and always has actually. But I'm sure there's got to be a way to incorporate a full field of a 12 or 16 team playoff and still incorporate some of the bowl sites. They all can't survive, obviously, but it's going to change, and hopefully they'll figure out a way to maintain and continue to include somewhat of a bowl feel. But again, it's like March Madness. March Madness is a great event, generates millions of dollars, and I think that's what we're heading towards with the full-blown playoffs.
And then something a little different here with having played for Lavelle Edwards and getting started in coaching under Lavelle. How did he influence you? Do you still feel the effects of being around Lavelle, in your work today?
Yeah, well, Lavelle, I had the opportunity to play for him, as you mentioned, and I was able to be a graduate assistant for him a few years later. Great person, great coach. It was a great opportunity to learn from him. There's really 3 head coaches that I've gathered, knowledge and information from that really have molded me, and that's Lavelle one, Ron McBride, and Urban Meyer. I had a chance to work for all 3 of those guys. Terrific coaches. Each had their sets of strengths. As far as me as just an X and O guy and a football coach in general, my father was the biggest influence on me. He was, had the opportunity to play for him in college. Best defensive football coach I've ever been around. So between him, those 3 head coaches, that's kind of molded me into what I am today.
Hello, Coach. Kenneth Berry, Touchdowns and Tangents Media. In regards to that Rose Bowl game,
Hey, can you guys turn this volume up? It's really hard to hear these guys.
sorry,
Or speak up. A
is that better?
little bit, yeah.
All right. In regards to how obviously the offense, they put up a lot of points, with the defense, with what they gave up in that Rose Bowl game, what was their approach in the offseason, and how have they responded and kind of coalesced after the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, we didn't play real good defense in the bowl game, but attribute that and credit Ohio State for a lot of that, obviously. I mean, their quarterback was outstanding. Play as well that I'm sure they would have liked to have had, but wasn't our typical Utah defense. Not to make excuses, but we had to convert a running back to corner because we were out of corners by the end of the season. We had been decimated by injury at that position, and so it was tough to go into a game where they throw the ball as well as they do, but you got to put your guys out there. And like I said, there's no excuse. No one feels sorry for you, but that was not our best outing on defense. But overall, when you look at the numbers from last year, I think we had a solid season defensively. Not quite what we're used to, but hopefully we get back on track this year.
And when you look at how far you've come as a program, I mean, in the Mountain West, successful there, everywhere you've been, you found a way to kind of enhance Utah. Do you feel like they get the respect nationally yet? Do you feel like they're still fighting for that, or do you feel like they've arrived?
Yeah, I think we're still fighting for that in a way. We're a program that is still working on our brand and trying to become more of a national presence. But you got to earn that. No one's going to give that to you, and the way you do that is every time you have a chance to prove that, national television, bowl games, that type of situation, then you've got to play your way into that respect and that level. And so I think we've made inroads. Are we where we want to be? Not yet, but we think we're heading in the right direction.
Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune. Kyle, how are you?
Doing good, Josh. Thank you for speaking up.
If you were asked this already, I apologize. What was your reaction when you found out that the 2 LA schools were leaving the Pac-12?
Yeah, surprised but not surprised. I mean, nothing can really surprise you, I don't believe, in college football right now. There's so much, movement and things that have happened through the years, but there's going to be a great deal more change, in my opinion. I think, as I mentioned earlier, the concept of super conferences is starting to materialize and become a reality, and so wasn't completely taken back by the move. The timing was, I don't know if there's ever a good time, but the timing was a little bit of a surprise. But anyway, like I said, that's where things are moving, and we'll just have to wait and see where all the dust settles, where we're at. It's not settled yet. There's a lot more dust to come.
Do you agree with the commissioner that the Pac-12 is still a viable product moving forward?
Sure, and I think that the real proof of the pudding of that is going to be in the media rights deal, and see how that comes out. And if those numbers are right, then absolutely. If those numbers aren't where we need them to be, then we'll look at other options. But it's right now appears to be very unified. The Pac-10, the 10 that are staying, and we'll see how it goes going forward.
And just one more. Obviously, you have experience moving conferences, having gone from the Mountain West to the Pac-12. What are some of the difficulties maybe that USC and UCLA face as they change conferences?
Well, they're going Power 5 to Power 5, so I don't see that as the same situation that we were in. But certainly going to be, getting a read on the different opponents. A bunch of new teams that they've never faced or have faced very rarely. Travel is going to be a consideration. You're going to go 2 time zones quite often, and that's another something that's going to be how to handle that. Do you go a day early for all those games? Leave on Thursdays instead of Fridays, and so there's a lot of things to iron out in that regard. But as far as going from Power 5 to Power 5, I don't see that the same as going from the WAC to the Pac-12.
I appreciate it, Kyle.
Thanks.
Hi, Coach. Bryce Miller from the San Diego Union Tribune. As a member of the conference in a bigger picture way in a couple of years when the LA schools leave, what's the importance of maintaining a connection to Southern California?
Well, it's certainly in our recruiting footprint. I mean, we'll always have a connection to Southern California. The proximity to Utah, it's just an hour and 20-minute plane flight, and so I think we're always going to have a presence down here. Is there going to be maybe some Pac-10 games that are neutral site games that take place in Southern Cal? I think there's going to be, we'll figure out some ways to always have a presence, but we're going to continue to recruit Southern California, obviously, because like I said, I think, if you were to look at all the areas that we do recruit, the majority of our players on the roster are from the Southern California area.
Joe Reedy, AP. Kyle, you're the favorite in the conference in the preseason poll, defending conference champion, yet all the talk's been about the new coaches, Lincoln Riley and USC, and who they've added. You kind of feel like you're under the radar?
I would say probably not. I think that, there's, as you mentioned, new coaches in the conference, and everyone's interested in that and finding out more about those guys. And we've always traditionally been a team that likes to fly under the radar a little bit and play with a chip on our shoulder, and so we don't take offense to any of that. We're I think being chosen as the Pac-12 the early champion, is, I guess you could say, is a show of respect to our program and where we're at, and we've worked hard. It's been 11 years of hard work and recruiting to get to that point.
And then just with you guys in NIL, how has it impacted your program, especially in terms of recruiting and kind of devoting resources to that?
Yeah, NIL has had a big impact. I think we're on the right road towards getting that all solidified and getting our ducks in a row. It definitely is becoming more prevalent in recruiting. This new class, this 23 class, is that's part of the equation. When you recruit, those are questions you get asked and you got to have answers for, and it's becoming more and more of a decision maker for the kids, and where it's going to go, who knows? I don't know what parameters or guardrails we're going to be able to put on it. I don't know if it can happen unless it happens at the government level, because right now there really doesn't seem to be a lot of enforcement of the NIL structure that's laid out. So we'll have to see what happens.
Adam Grossbart, Orange County Register. Kyle, in the wake of the USC UCLA move, how does your message to Southern California recruits change?
Well, we're going to be playing USC and UCLA for the next 2 years. At least that's, as of this moment in time, that's what's going to happen. And so the message hasn't changed a great deal. I'm sure with the next recruiting class, it's going to become even more prevalent. But, Pac-10 is, with the remaining Pac-10 is still a really good group of schools and competitive. And we'll just have to continue to formulate our recruiting pitch as we navigate through it. But right now we've really had very little pushback from Southern California recruits, based on what's happened. There really hasn't been much of an effect yet.
We have about 8 more minutes here with Coach.
Hey, what's up, Coach?
Hey.
Michael Matthew, TGN Sports. How important is the opening matchup that you guys have there in Gainesville? Just to, for the Pac-12 to be going against one of the premier schools in the SEC.
That's very important, and every game obviously is important. But when you have a chance to go down to SEC country and play a storied program like Florida with their history, their tradition, in a place like the Swamp, I mean that's a great challenge for our guys, and it's important for the Pac-12 to make noise, on a national scene whenever we get opportunities like that. There's several other teams in the league that are going to have similar opportunities, and so we've got to make the most of it. And that's, if you want to gain respect and gain national attention, you got to come out and win some of those games, and hopefully we can go down there and play like we're capable of.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Coach?
Good to go?
Nope. Is there someone?
Oh,
Oh.
Okay, am I supposed to call it? I'll call on you. I'm calling you. Yeah, okay. You kept waving your hand. I thought you were giving hand signals to somebody. So.
Actually, I just wanted to know. I have a loud voice, so I don't need a microphone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lisa Horn, pigskingrind.com. Congratulations, by the way, on last year's season. You're going to the Swamp. It's a night game. I'm wondering if you could whisper into the scheduling god's ears, would you prefer to lead up with maybe a group of 5 opponent, or is baptism by fire just going into the Swamp in a night game with the fans all riled up? Is that something that, how do you reconcile that?
Yeah, that's, there's pros and cons. You play a lesser opponent. You have a chance to maybe get some of your younger guys some experience and ease into the season, I guess you could say, even though as a coach you're never easing into anything. But one thing it does is it gets your players' attention. And as far as their preparation, and we've seen it starting in January, that these guys have been working their tails off getting ready for this game. It carried into spring ball, carried into the summer conditioning. And when you have an opener like that, like we said, we got to be able to hit the ground running, and our guys are aware of that. And it certainly makes the focus and the work ethic in the off season a very easy thing to achieve because of the opening opponent.
And just a follow-up question, actually a different question. Utah, the back 7 of Utah, except the front 7 of Utah, I've always been really impressed by it. What is it about Utah where you're getting these players? Is it just, I know you're probably going to say recruiting, but it's consistently excellent. It has been for the last 10 years. How are you doing that?
Yeah, we've had a reputation and backed up by statistics defensively to be pretty stubborn and particularly against the run. And that's why, philosophically, I'm a defensive coordinator by trade. And that's was always my philosophy is you play great defense by first stopping the run, and everything we do in our system is geared towards stopping the run, putting teams in long yardage situations, then getting after the quarterback. That's the short version. And we've been blessed with really good players. We put a bunch of guys in the NFL from our front 7 through the years. And it all rolls back to recruiting. Recruiting is really the lifeblood of your program. 80% of your success or lack thereof is tied to recruiting. And that's something that I've maintained for years and years. And that's been really the key, is getting the right kind of guys into our system and then developing those guys.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay.